Okay, and we are live on YouTube.
Great.
Okay. All right.
Numbers have been steady for a while, so I think we can probably get started.
Okay.
And if anybody misses the start, they can watch the recording.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to start with a little spiel that sort of explains who we are and what we're about. Because we're not really like other schools in the sense that we're not just a collection of videos or a collection of classes. We're actually a learning community. And so what that means is that in addition to classes, we also connect you to other weavers. We have forums to show and tell what you've done in and out of class. So we've got different forums for general discussion, and we've got forums for each class as well. We have live events. So we have peer help sessions where you get together with your fellow weavers. It's kind of like a guild meeting, except that we're actually actively problem solving. So we're problem solving both design and weaving problems. And then we've got, of course, a very active community to answer any questions that you might have. Now, we do have classes, obviously, and our classes are designed differently from video classes and so on, because it's designed to give you hands-on practice and connect with your classmates. So it's kind of like taking an in-person class, but without the cost and without the time pressure. And it's available anytime you want it in the middle of the night, if you like. If you're like me and you get up at 4 a.m, you can do the classes at 4 a.m. If you're like Janet and go to bed at 2 a.m, then you can do 2 a.m. and any other time.
You don't have to take the class in the middle of the night. You're allowed to do it during the day.
You also get teacher support. So some in the forums, we do participate in the forums, and much more in the live events for our premium members. And then the last thing to keep in mind is that our classes aren't scattershot here and there classes. They build in systematically into a organized weaving curriculum. So they go from the basics to more advanced topics, and it's a great way to learn about weaving a little more systematically than taking a class here and there. So with that, let's go to the community tour and take a look around.
Take a look
Janet,
around.
take it away.
Okay, so we're going to look first at the forums that Tian was talking about. Let's see, here we go. This is the dashboard you will arrive on when you connect to the website, and the forums you can get to right here from the left menu. And you'll see we have two main forums right now. One, Let's Talk Weaving, which is everything to do with weaving, and another one specifically for weaving help. If you need some troubleshooting, you need some advice, you have a question about your equipment, any of that would go here in the weaving help one, or could do. Below those two, you can see all the discussions that are currently running and how active they are, or they're sorted by what the ones that have been posted to most recently. So you can see this one, we've got 116 parts of that conversation. And in here, you can search for anything you want to in the forum. So I can say overshot, for instance, and see all the forum conversations that relate to overshot and go straight to them. So that's pretty handy. Did you want to look at individual forum conversations, or I think that gives people an idea.
I think that, well, maybe one of them.
All right, we'll go to Let's Talk Weaving and just see. Let's see. Oh, here's an important thing. Every week, Kathy, who is our community manager, she has a discussion prompt. So there's a new topic that pops up on Monday of each week for everybody to talk about for the week. Yeah. So here are some responses that people have made, and it's just like a forum or a group, say on some other social networking sites, where you can reply, and you can see over here.
Laura Fry is one of our really active participants too. So
yes, she's very active in our forum.
Or ergonomics, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh, I just thought of one thing I wanted to talk about. Sorry.
Okay. All
One more
right.
thing.
Go ahead,
One more
Janet.
thing. One thing that sets us apart too from, say, like Facebook, as far as the forums go, in the Weaving Help section, the replies to these forums, it's not in the other forum, but in Weaving Help, let's just look at one near the top here. You can upvote the replies.
By marking
And
them as more
then,
helpful or less helpful.
exactly, if somebody gives you an answer that's really helpful or that's very accurate or whatever, if you're reading through it and you didn't have the question yourself, but you can see that that's a really good answer, you can vote it up, and that makes it rise to the top of the forum so that you know the best answers are going to be right at the top and you can trust the answers that are right at the top. We also have a little flag, a dependable flag for folks whose answers can always be relied upon. At this point, that's Laura Fry, but it'll probably expand. So it's not like you don't have to wonder, oh, is this answer I'm getting useful, or is the person who's replying to me, they've been weaving for 2 weeks and don't really know the answer? Because some other places, Facebook, you really don't know like how reliable the information is that you're getting.
Yep. So my turn. Woohoo, Janet gets to heckle me. So another part of the community is the class discussion groups. So we have a different discussion group for each class. And hold on a minute, let me move this tab here. Okay. So each of the classes has its own discussion group, which is a great place to, of course, ask your questions about the class and share your work as well. So, for example, here, Kathy is looking for, or not Kathy, somebody is looking for feedback on her classwork and is getting some good replies here. So that's a good place to go if you want feedback or if you want help or if you have a question that was sparked by the class. Now you can also get inspiration by looking at the photos that people have done. I just realized I have this open in another tab. And so these are things that other people in the class have done. And so this is a great place to look and get inspiration or comment on other people's thing or post your own photos and get feedback. And there are something like 80 photos in this class already. So you can see that it's got a broad range of different styles and different interpretations of the same exercise. So if you want to get more out of the class, you can do it by seeing what other people have done with the same concepts. Let me see. So that is the class discussion groups. Another way that we've put together for interacting with the community is the events. We have 5 different events every month. 2 of them are for all members, and those are the 2 peer support sessions. And so these are sessions where basically we ask people to bring their problems and the other attendees help solve them. So it's sort of like a round table discussion. And we've got one for weaving help, and then we've got another one later on for design help down here. And so these are moderated, and so we ask, basically, so you get more useful help than, yes, it looks good, particularly with the design parts. We also have a couple of lectures. We have a live lecture with me and Janet, and where we go through the classes that have been posted in the previous month. And then we alternate months for the design sessions with Tien and office hours with Janet. And those are basically places where you can drop in, ask your question, and then stay or drop out, depending on whether you just wanted your questions answered or are interested in hearing all the things. Finally, we've got a Q&A once a month and with me and Janet. And those 3 items, the live lecture, the design sessions, the office hours and the Q&A are for premium members. And we record them and we put the recordings into an archive that's accessible to all premium members. So you get access to everything that we've done. So that is events. And Janet, I'll hand it back over to Janet. I love it when
Okay.
Janet talks, because then I can heckle her.
Great. Just one last part of the community that we want to be sure that you see is the being able to fill out your own profile and then find other people based on what they have put into their profile. So I'm going to share it quickly and show you. This is my part of my profile. You can see it's got just general information, weaving, facts, that sort of thing. So under weaving in particular, let's go. And all of these fields, every one of these fields, you can set the privacy on so that nobody but you can see it, or everybody can see it however you want. So here in the weaving information, you can check off all the different kinds of looms that you own and which are your preferences to weave on. How many shafts are on the looms that you own, if they even have them. We have lots of members that are rigid heddle or inkle weavers or folks who use looms that don't have shafts. Your favorite thing to weave, your favorite structure and fiber and set, that kind of thing. And then when you go to the members directory here, you can search through our members and find people with similar interests. So I can say, well, let's look and see everybody who has at least 8 shafts. And I could make it more refined. How many, who are the people who have at least 8 shafts and really like working with silk? Who are the people who have at least 8 shafts and really like working with silk in lace weaves, that kind of thing. So then if you have a question, these are people who may well be able to help you. Or if you want to have a conversation, these are people who may well be able to help you. And this is, our interface is similar to Facebook in that you can be friends with each of these people. And then you can see the activity that they're up to. You can post to your own, our equivalent of a timeline, and they can see what you've done. But you can also have ongoing chats with these folks. And chats can be, it's like Facebook Messenger in that you can have several people in a chat, and it's just a running conversation. So you could start a chat on any topic you want and include the people that you think might be interested, or invite the people you think might be interested, and then carry on discussing your lace silk projects on more than 8 shafts, for instance. All right. How do I stop sharing? Where's my stop sharing button? Jen, can you stop me sharing? Because
Oh, sure. I will.
Zoom has apparently decided I must share.
You're oversharing, Janet. I always tell you that.
I don't mean to.
All right. So let's talk about the let's see. So learning path. Wait. You're up. You're still up, aren't you?
I am. That must be why Zoom wouldn't let me stop sharing, because it knew I was supposed
It was trying to save you, Janet.
It was trying to save me. It didn't. It threw me a rope or a life saver, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Courses. Now that was community. We've covered community. Now we're going to talk about courses. So I'm going to introduce you to kind of course navigation and what courses look like and that sort of thing. And then
we'll talk about how the classes all fit together.
Yeah, how the curriculum is organized. So this is our complete course catalog at this point. We actually have lots more courses that haven't been published yet that are in the works that will come out over time. And we release courses at the start of each month and then 1 or 2 mid-month as well, so that you don't get overwhelmed with everything right at the beginning of the month and still have things to work on later on. So this is the entire catalog, which you can search in various ways. you can look at the courses that you currently have in progress, that you've started, you've enrolled in, but you haven't finished yet, or the ones that you have enrolled in. This is a link that goes straight to the class discussions that we talked about a little bit and we'll look at again. And the learning path, Tian is going to talk about in a bit. So I'm going to go to New to the Academy, which is where we have one course that is designed to help you learn how to take courses on our website. So you come, I just clicked on the picture.
By the way, you don't have to do this class in order to do the classes.
No,
It's just pointing out some of the bells and whistles and stuff that make working with the classes much easier.
right. It's showing you the features that you can take advantage of and how navigating through a course is easier or can be easier. So there's information here on this page about what this page itself looks like and does. And then once you're in a course, you can move through it lesson by lesson in order, or you can jump around. And so the first lesson here is how to get around, whether you're going to jump around or you're going to go through little by little. But I want to show you a couple of interesting things about any course. One is that if you don't have enough real estate on your screen, you can hide there's two menus over here on the left. One is the website navigation and one is the lesson or the course navigation. And you can actually hide one or both of those and have all kinds of room on your screen. If you prefer to read things in dark mode, you can do that. A lot of people prefer to read on a dark background. It hurts, it's less strain on your eyes. And of course, this is a course that doesn't have glossary links. So I'll show you that in a little bit too. But what it does have is a note-taking feature. So in every course, there's this little round circle over on the right side. I hope that our pictures are not covering it up. And if I click on that round circle, I can take notes about the course as I'm in the middle of it, and then I can save them, and later I can download them, print them out. I can edit them, revise them, whatever I want, and I can get to them from other places too. Let's see. Oh, and at the bottom of every lesson, there's a button to go to that group where you can discuss your class that Tian was showing you earlier. So often there'll be an exercise, like for instance, here's a course. I'm going to just skip right to a lesson, say, because you don't have to do them in order. Oh, and here now you can see the glossary entries. Do you see? I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so you can see it even better. Some of these words are pink and they have this little dashed underline. If I point at them, a short definition of that term will come up. So I don't have to wonder, what the heck does that mean? I don't have to stop reading and go and look something up. And if I want more information about it, often they have additional information if you actually click on the word and go to the glossary. There'll be longer conversations about it. And then this is one of our lessons that have interactive exercises. It's got the color editor from handweaving.net just built right in, and I can start editing. Let's see, hide image, replace colors. See, I can just start editing this if I want to. Yep, there it goes. Right there without leaving the course page at all. Pretty nifty. All right, so
Okay.
That's how individual courses work. Tian's going to talk about how all of the courses work together to
Teach you something.
go on a journey. Yes.
Okay, so here we are. Our classes come in learning paths. And so conceptually speaking, what a learning path is a set of classes that can be put together to teach you a useful unit of information. So I'll explain that right now. So learning path 1 is primarily about designing with muted and neutral colors, by which I mean sort of colors that are less intense, or sometimes people call them duller colors, even though they're not dull at all. And so we have 4 classes about designing with color, and understanding value is the very first one. We've already got that one in there. Then we can go to color. Then you go on to color recipes, which gives you some patterns of color that work well. There's value in design that explains the role that value plays in design and teaches you how to turn the knobs to get whatever effect you want. And then there's designing with muted and neutral colors, which is all about the design process and how do you get from an idea to a finished design. And so all 4 of these classes kind of go together in that learning path. And then there's another parallel section here, which is talking about the physical design parts. So Ashenhurst's formula to figure out set, what cotton yarn is and how it behaves, how to, once you changed your set, how to calculate the amount of yarn you need for the project or stripes or anything. And then a class on sampling, when and why and how to sample at different stages of your project. And so if you take all of these together, at the end, we have a project that is, in this case, it's a scarf in muted and neutral colors. And depending on which classes you've taken, you can change different parts of the project. So project 1 is a plain weave scarf in muted and neutral colors, and we give complete specs for a scarf. You could weave it as a kit if you wanted to. But what the intent of the project is to allow you to change those parts that you've learned about. So if you've taken the color classes, you design the colors in the scarf. And if you taken the set classes and the other design classes, then you can do things like change the yarn size to whatever suits you, and change obviously change the number of threads and so on as well. And so the idea of a learning path is that it's a set of classes that all go together and that wrap up in a project that lets you practice what you've learned. Because you can learn things by the book, but until you actually put it into practice and try designing a project, there's still going to be a lot of stuff that you don't really know. And so all of our learning paths culminate in a project. And let me talk a little bit about what's coming up. This is our syllabus. It's linked to from, if you go to www.handweavingacademy.com, there's a link on our sales page to the syllabus. And so the Learning Path 1 is going to be December through March of next year. And that's teaching you the fundamentals of color and also how to design with low saturation colors. And I invite you to go read this over because there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up. Learning Path 2 is going to be about twills, and I think 11 different types of twill. And
at least I'll probably sneak in some extras.
Janet gets a little over enthusiastic sometimes. And then you'll also learn about color mixing and weaving. And so those are the 2 threads that run through Learning Path 2. More tools than you can shake a stick at, and how to mix and use color in those twills. And the wrap-up project is going to be a set of 4 cotton napkins. And then Learning Path 3 gets us into Crackle, which perhaps Janet should say a little bit more about since she's more familiar with Crackle than I am.
Learning Path 3, so Crackle, we're first going to look at it as a twill, because Crackle can be woven as a twill. And exactly how does it behave when it is a twill? But Crackle is also a very low impact introduction to block weaves. So Learning Path 3, well, we're going to talk about using Crackle as twill and colors and all and in that one we're going to be working on a project that is wearable rather than like a table linen as in the previous one. So we're also going to be talking about choosing yarns and choosing sets for a lovely drape for like a fashion accessory. And then in Learning Path 4, we're going to take Crackle to the block weave level, and we start looking at it as a block weave and all kinds of other different ways that you can treadle Crackle, like Overshot or like Summer and Winter or like this or like that. And so that will be our first real introduction to how block weaves work, and a little bit of unit weaves, but just mostly block weaves in the context of Crackle, to introduce that idea gently.
Okay.
So, and the BRACPA project there is a table runner, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because although if you'd like to do another wearable, then certainly one of the Chef It Up classes will relate to how you might take a compound weave, like Crackle as it's woven as Overshot or whatever, and still make that fabric lovely and supple and drapey.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to point out, just while you have the learning path diagram up there,
Yes.
Jen.
Let me go back to, you want this one, right?
Yeah. So this also tells you the order in which we imagine you're going to take the classes. And they're sort of the order in which we've written them, or we've written them expecting them to be read. But we don't require that you do any of the classes in any particular order, or that you do any of the classes at all. It might be that once you get to the project class, if you've skipped some of the earlier classes, you're going to be missing some key information, but there will be links to go back to what you need to know. So this is really a choose your own adventure. If you already know Ashenhurst formula to determine set, or you are not interested in it, you can skip that class and just carry right on. There are no hard prerequisites, only recommendations.
That's right. The other thing we didn't mention was that there are other classes that we offer that aren't part of a learning path. So in this particular case, between now and March, we're releasing actually 7 other classes that aren't part of the learning path. So these are more generally useful, but not specific to that set of content. So for example, how to read a draft, what you can learn from the drawdown, which is actually astonishingly interesting. And several classes on weaving technique, how to wind a striped warp, how to wind a bobbin, how to handle a shuttle properly. So there's a little bit of something for everybody in these.
And I'm not sure that we've said it yet in the tour, but the classes are not limited time. Once a class is released, it is there and available as long as you are a member. So it's not like you need to rush through them to get through everything by the end of the month. It's kind of like, I compare it to Netflix. As long as you have a Netflix subscription, you can watch anything that's on Netflix. Except unlike Netflix, we're not going to take anything down at some point.
Right. Okay. So I believe that is the end of my part. So on to Janet and the Weaver's Toolboxes.
Yeah, now we get to talk about some of it's all super exciting. And of course, I love the classes and I love the community, but I'm excited about some of the features that we have that are really unique to our site, I think. And one of them is our knowledge bases, which is a very sort of buzzy term for, it's kind of like an online encyclopedia. So if you come to our help page, you'll see that we have several of these collections of information. There's help files and facts about how the website works. There's the welcome tour about how the website works for people who have just joined. And then we get to the Weaver's Toolbox. So this is like, how do I do the thing? Which treadles do I tie up? Or should I warp my loom from front to back or back to front? Spoiler, the answer is yes. Sure, however you want. But so how to hold the shuttle, how to keep track of your treadling, and how to keep track of your threading. How could I use my smartphone to see the value of a color? And we're just going to keep adding toolbox files and toolboxes, tools, all the time, constantly. So these lists are going to get longer and longer and longer. We already have several different categories. There's calculators, there's what to do at the loom, what to do away from the loom, things related specifically to design, etc. So the toolboxes are really, really useful. And when you find one that is particularly meaningful to you or that you want to be able to come back to repeatedly, you can bookmark it. And, but oops, I just moved pictures right on top. You can put a bookmark it. And that's true of just about anything, the classes, lessons, the glossary entries, all kinds of things you can put bookmarks on, and then you have your own personal list of bookmarks so you can get right back to the things that interest you. So that's one of the special features I'm super excited about. The other one, another one, there's many. We already looked at the notebook. One of the others is the weaving glossary, which I referred to at one point, but now I'm going to show you a little more. So these are all terms that have come up for the classes that are already released. And we will, just like the toolboxes, be adding to this constantly. So anytime you see the phrase structural draft, what the heck is structural draft? Whenever that pops up in a class, you don't have to sit there and wonder and get stuck and maybe stop absorbing because your hinterbrain is just going, well, what is this structural draft? How is that different from this draft or that draft? You can just mouse over and get the information right away, or click on it and get even more information.
Mhm.
And we'll be adding to this continually as well. So I think that's it for those particular tools. The next thing we have is just navigation on the website and how easy it is to use the website. We spent months trying to make sure that everything was as straightforward and simple and quick to get to with as few clicks as possible. And then we really surveyed our testers to make sure that they found the website easy to use, accessible if they had any kind of a difficulty sometimes with online things. Is the text legible? Is the color okay? Can you see even if you're colorblind? If your hearing is an issue for you, do we have, and we do, everything is captioned, everything is transcribed, so that if you either can't hear it or you just don't want to listen, you rather watch a video without listening, maybe you've got little kids or whatever, you can take in the videos without sound as well. So there are always these three menus. One is this one on the side. This is called the side panel. It's always there, but you can shrink it at any time so that it doesn't take up as much room on your screen, and you can still follow these links. If it's expanded, then sometimes you get some submenus. Well, you always get some submenus if it's expanded. The top navigation menu, those are the top, that's like, here's our courses, here's our community, and here's how you get help. Those three are always at the top, unless you're in a lesson. If you're in a lesson, we have what's called full focus mode, where all the other clutter gets kind of hidden away. You still have the side panel, but you can shrink it away, and in that case, it disappears entirely. And then you also have your profile menu, which gets you straight to some of the stuff that is of most importance to you personally, your friends, your inbox. That's your chat rooms, your direct messages. Anytime somebody's mentioned you, it's like tagging somebody on Facebook or earbirding on Ravelry, your own bookmarks. And then, of course, your account management stuff down here. And then up here, you've got notifications. It shows you, if somebody has sent you or accepted a friend request. It shows you if somebody has commented on something you posted in the forum, so you can go and look and see what the answer is. And it shows you other various things. And then this is your inbox for your messages.
Yep.
All right. I think that covers,
Yeah,
I think that covers it.
I think so.
So
One thing we didn't mention is that we also, with tools that are more complex, we're also offering classes on how to use them. So we've got some classes on how to use the color editor coming up this week. Next week, I think.
right. Well, the color editor classes are released, but we also have live event Q&As.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
On how to get help direct from Dawn, who's the woman who wrote the classes. So, and there's also the Ashton-Hurst calculator. There's a whole class that talks about how to do the formula. And then there's a calculator that will do it for you or with you, I suppose.
So
Yep.
does anyone have questions? If so, type them into the chat. Does everyone know how to get to the chat? Did we do the spiel?
We didn't do the spiel, so we should tell them that they could either type questions into the chat, which is, or using the question and answer interface. And if you're on a desktop or a laptop, both those buttons are at the bottom of the window that has our pictures in it. And you just click on them, and then it's pretty clear how to enter something. And if you're on a device like a phone or a tablet, it'll be somewhere in the menus, but every device is different. The apps are all different, so we can't tell you exactly where. On an iPad, I think it's top right, but they change them.
And if you have any other questions about the Academy, not just the website, like what we're offering or things like that, feel free to ask.
Absolutely. Or something you'd like to see on the website, we could go and show you.
And okay. Holly, Debbie is asking for colors of classes other than those in the syllabus. How long are they? So I think you're saying well, actually, let me ask for some clarification there. I think you mean for classes longer other than the ones in the learning path.
Yeah,
how long are they?
I'd say so.
And it really depends on the class. Some of them are short and sweet, like the ones, let me share my screen and just show you the ones that we've currently got planned. So if you look at these here, the color editor and the color editor gradients are what I would describe as medium-sized classes. Reading a draft and drawdowns are larger classes, Janet? Those are Janet.
Yeah. There's, I'd say they're going to be 7 or 8 lessons, but each lesson is fairly substantial.
Mm-hmm. And then the winding, stripe, warps, bobbin, winding, and shuttle handling are sort of quick bites.
Yeah.
So you can get through them, in I don't know, 10, 15 minutes at most. So the idea is to give you an assortment of classes that are of different sizes. So if you've only got 15 minutes, you can still get something out of the site. And if you've got longer, then you can dive deeper into different concepts.
A lot of people mentioned too in the surveys that we had the early access program folks fill out. Several people mentioned that they liked how the classes were broken up into smaller little lessons, and you could mark each part as done. And then if you could only do a little bit and then you left and you came back, you would come right back to where you were. So it's not like you have to start over from the beginning. You come right back to the part you haven't done yet.
Dawn, would you like to give us some questions?
Sure, let's see.
Dawn is with us in moderator space.
Hello. Jackie Fisher is wondering, she signed up for basic. If she decides to upgrade, can she do that at any time?
So yes, asterisk, footnote. It's supposed to be automagic, like you just click some buttons on the website, but that is not working very well right now. And we've had the developers working on it for a long time. And it turns out it doesn't matter. Short story is, yes, you can do it, but it's not automatic. So what you need to do is write to us and we will make it happen. There's a 14-day no questions asked refund policy anyway. So if you're within your 14 days, then the easiest thing for us to do, honestly, is just to refund your basic and you can buy premium and then you're squared away. And yes, okay, you've gotten some time for free, but who cares? And if it's more than 14 days, we'll still figure it out.
And we're working on getting that bug fixed.
Yeah, well, it is out of our control. It's not something that we can fix, but we are looking at hiring some folks to fix it. And we are pestering the people who broke it so that they will make it work.
All right.
So here's a related question that I think will have a similar answer. Sharon Henderson is wondering if she can jump back and forth between basic and premium memberships as needed without losing any of our personal info content access.
Once the automated click a button thingy works, then yes, absolutely. And the only way in which that's not true now is that it won't just be as needed, because you're going to have to write to us and then we'll have to mess around with it. And I think what's probably going to happen while we're having to do it manually is that we'll do it on a month by month thing. So you'll finish the month as your tier and then we'll switch you or something like that.
Well, if you're, yeah.
We'll figure it out. Well, we're smart cookies and we have an excellent what do we call
Look, Janet, the short version. Yes, you can go up. Yes, you can go down. Email us. We'll take care of it.
And you won't lose anything. You don't have to change anything. Your content, your activity, everything is right there. It's just that your access will change slightly as your tier changes.
Okie dokie. You ready for another one?
Yes.
I'm very curious about this username too. Grandma Gianelli's Bakery is wondering if monthly payments will be available.
Yes, they are already.
They already are. Yeah. You can get
Great.
a monthly membership or an annual membership. Although
Yeah.
we're offering a 40% discount on the monthly rate for if you buy annually.
Right now, yeah. It's
Yeah.
the founder's discount is very deep, so take advantage. But normally if you subscribe annually, I think you get 12 months for the price of 10.
Yeah.
But you can always be monthly too. Yeah.
All right, let's see. I answered already, but Karen Schnee asked, are there any additional charges to take the classes?
Not for the
Never know.
classes. If you want to attend the live events with me and Janet, then that would be a premium subscription. Or if you want to access all those recordings, but for the classes, no, absolutely. It's included in all of the memberships.
Right. And to clarify, just if you are a premium member, then you have access to all the live events and all the recordings. You don't have to pay additionally for that either. So there's no extra charges beyond your subscription to your membership tier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Debbie M wonders if these classes are interactive as well.
I think that she was referring to the non learning path courses.
Got it.
Some of the classes are going to be interactive. Most of them are going to be interactive or have exercises in one way or another. The color ones certainly are going to have a lot of hands-on, experiment with color.
And they all of the classes have the discuss your class group so that you can interact with your fellow students.
Yeah, so if you want to have questions you want to ask, or if you're doing something cool related to the class and you want to share it and get feedback on it and all of that, if you want to do show and tell, you can totally do that in the class discussion groups.
Cool. Sarah Ellenberg is wondering if the syllabus that we just showed is on the website, on the Hand Weaving Academy website.
It is. It's on the Learning Path 1 detailed one is available inside the inside the academy, and the overall course syllabus is available on if you just go to www.handweaving.com, there's a link there, or you can just go to yes. If you go to handweavingacademy.com/syllabus, you'll find it there.
Yeah. So the path diagrams are only on the member site, but the whole syllabus is on.
Maybe we should put that up on the external site as well.
At this point, you won't find it right now. Yeah.
Okay. Sharon Henderson says, this is so exciting.
Woo-hoo!
So I just thought I'd throw that in.
We're pretty excited.
It really is. Um, Joy Pate wonders, she would like to send a link of this recorded session to guild members who might be interested in the academy. Will this be available for her to send to friends?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And we'll have a replay on the on YouTube as well. So for
Yeah.
people who don't have access.
So
Excellent.
there's the public part, which is www.handweavingacademy.com. And then there's the members only part, which is my.handweavingacademy.com. So if it's on www, anybody can see it. And that's where the recording of this will go. It'll
Yep.
probably go both places.
Yep.
All right, I think we left Holly's question up here at the top. Let's see. When I get a notification of a reply to a forum comment, how do I jump to that comment?
So I am just seeing. Yeah, I will share my screen. So I looked at my notifications up here and I don't have any unread notifications that were replies to forum stuff. So I am now looking at all my notifications since the beginning of time that I haven't deleted. You can do that too. So here, Carly Jane replied to a discussion. And if I click on her name, I will go straight to seeing some information about Carly. But if I click on the reply to a discussion part, it will take me to the forum in which that reply happened. And you can get to, sometimes you have to kind of hunt through it. And I went hunting for this reply earlier, and I think that the comment that she was replying to might have, oh, there it is, right there. Okay.
It gets highlighted.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to hunt around a little bit. And sometimes usually if you can click right on the date or the time, it'll take you straight to the reply. But you can grab this slider and go up and down, or you can, wherever you are, click at start of discussion or now to see the most recent one.
Right.
All
Any
right,
other
I don't
questions?
have any other questions at the moment. I have a thank you from Debbie M. Sounds exciting. Good luck, ladies.
All right. Is this the part where we burst into song, Janet?
It is not the part where I burst into song, or else we will frighten away all of these people. No, I promise you there will be no singing from me. Well, actually, I better not promise because I do tend to. La, la, la.
We just
Wait,
got another
Sharon
one.
has a question.
Yes, Sharon says, will you have a suggestion box in air quotes? I can't do that on
Ah,
a video with feedback on how the site works.
on every single page, if you go to the footer menu, oh, I'm already at the footer menu. It's hard to see it maybe underneath the closed captioning, but right here down at the bottom, there is a link to submit feedback. And we read every single one of those. We also have a link here to get support. So if you need help with an issue related to the website or your membership and account or anything, or the moderation of the community, you can get help with that from the support request form. And then you can also, there are forms for submitting questions to the Weaving Help peer support sessions, or to, if you are a premium member, to office hours with Janet or design sessions with Tien.
You saw the question.
Sarah asked in the Q&A where the cats were. So here's a cat.
I was just about to ask you. Karen Schnee says, if we took classes previously, will we have access to those classes? Color, overshot, departures, etc.
Karen, those classes were all under separate umbrellas, under our old teaching umbrellas. So Warp and Weave and Weaving with Janet Dawson, and they are all still there. So you will use your existing Warp and Weave account to go see anything that's on the Warp and Weave site. So that's all of Tien's color classes and our stash classes, our joint stash classes. If you took any of my overshot classes, you'll get to them still through Weaving with Janet Dawson and that login. They're not part of the Academy because the Academy is an entirely separate animal, a joint enterprise. Oh,
Okay,
and there's stuff in the, oh, I see. That was the cats.
That was the cat.
that was the request for cats.
I'm surprised we haven't heard my little old lady. She's very vocal about this time of night.
I think we have hit everything.
All right.
All right. Woohoo.
Else? Questions?
Come on, you got 7 more minutes to pump us for information. Anything you want to see?
Oh, all right. I guess
Five.
We've answered all the questions. Hooray.
This
we
is
can
a
go back
great
to
demo.
Happy Hamster Dance. We're so excited about this.
Holly asked if we explain points. We do have a system where you get points for interacting with the website, and especially for interacting with the community. You get a few points each day. And at the moment, they are just a nice little number, but we have plans for cool things you will be able to spend your points on.
Okay, we just popped up
We
2
have
more
plans.
questions. What'd you say?
We have plans.
We have them.
Yep.
Okay, Jackie Fisher wonders what happens in year 2.
So Learning Path 3 starts in September and goes, and we haven't established the specific dates for Learning Paths 3 and 4, but they'll cover a lot of 2024.
Yep.
So.
And Joni Rosen wonders where she can find the schedule of happenings and classes.
So if you are a member, and I know that you are, on the website, if you go over here in the left sidebar, there's a link to events. If it's expanded, it actually says events. And here is a list of all the events that are coming up. And if you want, you can look at that in a month format rather than just as a list. So here's everything in December. And you can click on each of these for more information. And you can add them to, if you use Google Calendar or iCalendar or something, you can add those things to your calendar as well. And as for when classes are coming out, let's see, Learning Path. If you come to the Learning Path details, so that the previous page showed you the classes that had been released that were already released that were part of the class. And here's the map that Tien was showing you earlier. And here's more description about what you'll learn in the project. And then at the bottom, there's this chart. And when you come to the page, it is sorted by month over here. So it shows you the months in which things are coming out, but you can sort it if you want by the, looks like normally you can also sort it by the name of the course or the order that they show in the path. And I must have done a funny thing and I will make that work again in 2 minutes.
Janet is very good at building things and is also very good at breaking things. They go
But
together.
then I fixed them.
They
Right.
go together, yes. Carol says, yes, good teachers are good at answering questions, right? So that's a nice compliment
Well,
right
thank
there.
you.
And let's see, I've got a Q&A. Are you getting close to being maxed out for your total membership?
I think
We-
we're up to, yeah.
Yeah.
What's-
Go ahead.
I was going to say what's our current total, but I think we're up somewhere near 400 now.
We're over 400.
Oh,
Yeah, and we're capping it at 5 for December because we're still getting little things like the chart, right? And somebody said today, I loved this. She said, well, Weavers understand that you need to sample in order to get the project right. And you're sampling the website with the first 500 people.
that's actually not quite. Well, basically, we just spent the last month working with our
Oh,
early
yeah.
access program participants to get the website ready. And the website and our plans are, and our courses are basically, they're ready now.
Oh, yeah.
But what's the point was that when you get 500 people coming into a community all at once, it has the potential to disrupt the community. And also, you know, we have a small staff. And so we didn't want to have to answer questions from 700 or 800 people at once, because that would be overwhelming. So, so for the month of December, we're capping it at 500 so that we can grow at a sustainable pace.
Exactly.
And I have some new questions. Fiona wonders, can you still access the courses after the first year if you don't subscribe for a second year?
No, so it's like Netflix. When your subscription ends, your membership ends, then your access ends.
Right.
Where do I go to sign up?
Handweavingacademy.com.
And long term, will there be a limit on members?
No.
No.
Oh, and
Okay.
Joy points out that there are downloads of some exercises that you can keep.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever you can, whatever you download, of course you can keep.
Mhm.
And you can also take your notes from the lessons, download those and keep those.
Right.
So,
And if you subscribe for a while, if you're a member for a while, and then your membership expires and you don't renew for a little while, and then you come back later, your content is still there, unless you choose to take it down. You can always choose to delete your content because it's your content. But unless you choose to do that, we are not going to remove your content unless your account is inactive for a couple of years and we just need the space back.
we want to
Otherwise-
make it really easy for people, because we know not everyone weaves every single month, of the year. And
Right.
so the way we've set it up is that you can subscribe for a month and then drop out, if you're busy building a house or something like that, or doing your garden. And then you can resubscribe when you're ready to resubscribe. And
Yeah.
everything you had will still be there, and you'll have access to everything, all the member stuff.
And everything that happened while you were away too.
Right.
Right. Everything from the beginning of time, you get the site, you get all the good stuff.
All the stuff.
Right.
And Sharon, who had that question, who I think we just answered very well, said, very thoughtful. So thank you.
We really wanted to make things easy for people. And we also wanted to make sure that, you don't have to pay for something that you're not getting value from.
Yeah. And it's not, your choices aren't only sign up in perpetuity or nothing, right? You can dip in and out if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. We don't mind.
We're all about making your own choices, empowering you to make the choices that are right for you, whether that is your cloth, right in your cloth, or in your
Learning.
online weaving consumption.
Yep. All right. No other questions?
Nope.
We're at 1 o'clock, so I think that we can stop here.
Okay.
All right, Janet. We
You're
can't go
at 1
forever.
o'clock.
Oh,
Not all of us
right.
are at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay, Janet. The funny part is that I get up before Janet is, and she's 4 hours ahead of me. But
You
that's
also go
because
to
I'm an
bed.
extreme early bird and Janet is a night owl.
Yes.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming. And we hope you've learned a lot about the site. And if you're not a member yet, we hope you'll sign up at handweavingacademy.com.
Yes, please. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Dawn, for moderating.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome. Bye, everybody. See you
See
soon. I
you
hope.
in class.